How's it going, everybody? This is Tamer Barker of Dothraki Outdoors, here today to give you what, in my opinion, or who, in my opinion, I should say, are the top 5 deer hunters of all time. I'm not saying specifically with the gun, specifically the bow. I'm just saying in general, and I'm also not talking about people who just kill big deer because they own a lot of land. Now, one person who's my honorable mention, you could kind of say that about, but I'm going to explain why he's just missed the list. But most of these guys are public land guys, knock on doors for permission guys, small property guys that never really own big land but still are consistently killed giant bucks over their life or are still doing it. So we'll start with that honorable mention. The closest thing to a TV big management guy on here is my honorable mention, and that is Mr. Big Bill Winke. The reason I have Bill Winke on this list is obviously, with having a lot of land, he's killed giant bucks consistently, but in my opinion, unlike most of the other big land guys, like 2,000 acre property guys, he can actually teach things to the average hunter. The guy who hunts the back 40 or the guy who's hunting public land, he can still talk about seasonal movements and not just be like sitting in this box plot over this food plot. He still actually hunts up tree stands. So I give him a lot of credit for that. And he's still a very successful hunter. So honorable mention for me here, Bill Winke. Now, for probably the most controversial guy on my list, we're going to start with number 5. And yeah, I'm going to say him. Number 5 on my list, Mitch Rampolla. Now, whether you believe that he is truly the world record holder for bucks or not, regardless of whether that was doctored or not, you cannot deny the fact that this man killed giant bucks before and after that deer. Maybe, let's say that deer wasn't legit. Maybe at worst, 1 or 2 others weren't, but you can't say all of his deer weren't legit. This guy truly knew whitetail, truly was ahead of his time, is really, to me, the pioneer of postseason scouting, finding sign to kill deer the next year. The guy got it done. Now, I would love to know the truth about the 1998 buck, but unfortunately probably never will. And I honestly don't know whether I believe it or not. I'd love to, just because I'd rather see him have the record than Milo Hansen. But there's enough controversy on where we really don't know. But what we do know is this man killed mature bucks day in and day out, regardless. Number 4 on my list is another Michigan hunter, and probably the second most controversial hunter on this list, and that is Mr. John Eberhart. John Eberhart, king of scent control, godfather of saddle hunting. This guy's been getting it done for years in Michigan, and into his 70s, still getting it done to this day, killing big bucks in Kansas and lots of other states, only on public land and knock on doors for free permission properties. Also, pioneered saddle hunting, really became the first hunter who took scent control seriously. Just a great hunter. You can learn a lot from him, and he has the will to prove it. Number 3 on this list for me, a guy who's on the opposite end of the scent control spectrum is John Eberhart, and yeah, that can only mean one thing: the big buck serial killer, Dan freaking Infalt. Now, Dan Infalt, unlike John, he's totally relied on the wind, no scent control, doing it in a little easier state than John in Wisconsin. Not quite the caliber of bucks in Michigan that Wisconsin has. But the reason I put him ahead of John is just because he's doing it a little less traditionally. Less scent control. No scent control. Still using a stand, not a saddle, which he does prefer that, and he says that. So he's number 3 for me. He can kill bucks out of state too, just like John. Probably the greatest teacher of whitetails on this list, in my opinion. Willing to answer questions from people he doesn't even know online, whether it's YouTube comments on the Beast channel, comments on the Beast forum, or just Facebook comments. He's very willing to help people out. So, great guy, really good hunter, hunts right down the last minute every season, win, lose, or draw. Number 3 for me, Dan Infalt. Number 2 on this list, and the highest ranking, pretty much modern in their prime hunter, is Andy May. Andy May is younger than Dan and John, but the reason I have him ahead of them is because this guy is the expert at killing mature buck out of state, out of his typical area in three-day hunts. He's a father, which remember on seller most of the guys in this list, but he's a father, married guy. He has limited time to hunt, so he can't take necessarily a 7 to 10 day vacation. He might have a 3-day hunt, and he can get it done. And for anyone who's hunted out of state, you know that when you go out of state, it takes you a couple days to figure it out. And he basically figures it out in half a day or one max, and by the end of 3-day hunt, he's got a mature buck on the ground. So number 2 for me is Andy May. Number 1, we're going old school. This is the number 1 hunter also for Dannenfault and John Eberhart. I've heard both of them say this multiple times. A little controversial with a little incident he had outside hunting, but for me, hands down, number 1 hunter of all time for deer, Miles Keller. Miles Keller was doing it long before all these guys were on this list, shooting big bucks before it was a thing to shoot big bucks. Getting it done. Kind of pioneered some things with scent control. Not quite to the John Eberhart level, but doing some things to do that. Just giant bucks after giant bucks, both public and smaller private parcels. So for me, those things in mind, and just the way that both Dan and John look at him, to me, the number 1 deer hunter of all time is Miles Keller. Did I get it right? Did I forget somebody? Drop a comment and let me know. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching this Duel Through Outdoors video. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more Duel Through Outdoors content.